Hmm. So I guess the challenge is getting to 100 subscribers by this time next month. Okay. I'll preface this by saying that I'm not going to go into the manga's implications of the source of Nanika's power. I'm sticking to the arc she was introduced in. The term Deus Ex Machina, or God from the Machine, is used to refer to the use of sometimes supernatural and almost always random objects, occurrences, or concepts that come into being in a story simply to resolve an unsolvable problem so the plot, story, and characters can move on. So, for those who need a refresher, during the 13th chairman arc of the Hunter Multiplied by Hunter anime, Gon Freaks, the main character, was hospitalized and basically irrevocably injured by his Nen as a condition for him gaining the power to defeat one of his opponents from the previous arc. It is at this moment that Killua, Gon's friend, reveals that his secret little sister, Aluka, has a second personality, Nanika. Nanika is, as far as we know, an unidentifiable and uncontrollable entity theoretically capable of granting any wish with a body count only really matched by her family.
同じクラスだった者が全員荒縄状にねじり殺された。
And so Killua brings her on to help him heal Gon completely. So, how is this not a Deus Ex Machina? My first idea was that the conditions Nanika has keep her from being too overpowered, since people have to die to pay for her wishes. However, Killua being an exception to this rule kind of undermined that, so I had to start from scratch. The conditions don't matter if they don't hinder the main goal, that is, healing Gon. Plus, the fact that she won't make a harmful request after healing something makes us even less worried about the damage she could cause. Now, if you've ever seen me talk about Fairy Tail in a critical capacity, which is probably none of you, you'll know that one of my biggest problems with the arc resolutions is when the main characters have to do something drastic in order to have enough power to beat the big bad, only for the consequences of that drastic action to disappear right in time for the story to continue. Natsu eats an incredibly powerful but unprecedented element to gain a new power to be strong enough to defeat Jelal. Well, it makes him sick, but he's fine until the arc actually ends. Then he gets sick. But don't worry, he gets better before the next story arc can actually. Chilia sacrifices her magic to beat a god. Don't worry, you can still do magic. Wendy cuts her head to display growth. Can't have that. Fucking Makarov. Wait, no, this video is about Hunter plus Hunter as succeeding. And how does it do that? Well, there are actually two sides to this argument, but one is a spoiler for the manga that I'm not going to go into. Fortunately, the 13th election arc already provides all the evidence I need to prove my point that Nanika is not a Deus Ex Machina. The first thing that should be considered with introducing an overpowered player like Nanika is the justification of her existence. And that's actually pretty easy. Nanika can be identified as a Nen power, at which point there really isn't anything left to explain. The Hunter square root of Hunter's power system easily allows for her existence. And I mean, look at this girl, Neon Nostrad. Beyond being a character I kind of wish we could have seen more of, she's an example of one of Hunter x Hunter's geniuses. She has the capacity to use her Hatsu, her superpower, despite never being trained to use Nen. And what a Hatsu it is. Lovely Ghostwriter allows her to predict the future. People can generate powerful Nen abilities with no prior training. And Aluka is basically the descendant of a line of really powerful Nen assassins. Now that it's established that we have a precedent, we just need to ask, can the Nen system support a wish-granting being such as Aluka? Yes. Grid Island is a massive example of Nen being able to pretty much warp reality to the point where it turned a small island into a video game. Add that to the fact that she requires you to fulfill requests for her before she can grant a wish for you, and it does seem like a solidly believable Nen ability. Can it be unbalanced as hell? Definitely, but what isn't? Some of you may disagree. Just say that just because it's possible that Nanika exists, it doesn't mean she is an example of good writing. And you know what? You're right. If one of the straw hats in One Piece ate the find fruit and used it to immediately set sail for Raftel, it wouldn't be good writing. It would be possible, but it wouldn't really be good writing. Fortunately, I'm not done. Another method Hunter equals Hunter squared uses is by making the healing of Gon very difficult. Even though Nanika, once she actually touches Gon, can basically instantly heal him, half of the arc's plot revolves around the not insignificant task of just getting her to him. With Illumi and Hisoka running interference and the Zoldyck family dynamics taking center stage, it makes the attempt to heal Gon more meaningful, as Killua has to overcome several challenges and mind games to even get close. This is where Hunter divided by Hunter succeeds where Fairy Tail fails. The recovery, instead of being something that happens in between story arcs, is an actual story arc in and of itself. But the final, and in my opinion, most important reason why Hunter raised the power of Hunter can use Nanika is because of her relevance to the story. Another important factor in our acceptance of Nanika is her identity as a plot device, or rather, not a plot device. The addition of incredible game-breaking powers to any story is a very risky move that must be managed by the writer very carefully. It's very rare for writers to add those powers to the story in a way that doesn't make you think they were added in simply for that one situation and the writer needs to get rid of them. The one that comes to mind for me is the time turner from Harry Potter. Yes, J.K. Rowling put in the necessary limitations to keep them from using it all the time, but I always felt that Dumbledore giving students the ability to time travel and no one else really taking advantage of it was questionable. And then they just destroyed all of them, which solidifies the idea that they only really existed to save Sirius Black. This is very much not the case with Aluka. Aluka's relationship with Killua is basically the main focus of the Zoldyck side of the election arc, with its own themes. Themes I will not be going into here. But suffice to say, Nanika and Aluka are absolutely important characters that aren't simply shoved off to the side once Gon is better. If the story only focused on Nanika's ability and didn't do anything of worth with it beyond healing Gon, then this essay would be far different. But Nanika is more than just her power. She is the catalyst for a major conflict between Killua and his family and the culmination of Killua's character growth, all rolled up in an adorably innocent package. By shifting the perspective of the story in this way, Nanika was less created to rescue Gon from death, and it's more like Gon was women in refrigerated to motivate Killua to rescue his sister. While it is undeniable that Aluka is a ridiculously convenient character, right down to being Killua's sister, though some things in the manga suggest her placement in the family is less than random. And she does seem to save Gon with no issues, except some things in the manga. Togashi wrote the story in a way that negated the common downsides of adding a Deus Ex Machina to the story to save your main character. Instead of coming off like a convenient girl who could undo the negative effects of Gon's descent into darkness, she became a very real part of the world and is framed by the narrative in a way to allow the viewers to remain engaged in the story. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a comment below and a like. And if you like more content like this, click the cards for more videos or subscribe for all my future content. Thank you and good day.